What's up, everybody? Silver here with another Halo Wars 2 achievement guide. This time we are doing Vidmaster Challenge No Fly Zone. So this is the second mission of the Spear Breaker campaign DLC. So to start this up, I like to use the first two leader power points on the restoration drones and also the power up that makes you have increased visibility, line of sight. So we get a little in-game cutscene here where there's this big Forerunner ship in the middle we're preventing from taking off. So just bring your units up to here, and we will fight these enemies at the start of the mission here. Pretty basic stuff so far. But to get this mission, to get this achievement, you need to complete this mission on Legendary and get a gold medal and complete all the objectives. And you could do this. You can't do this individually, unfortunately, like you can with other achievements. You need to get all of these accomplished in one run through instead of doing them piece by piece. So this makes it one of the more difficult achievements in the game. So start it up. I don't have any skulls on except for Nightmare, because Nightmare gives you a boost and it just prevents you from having any checkpoints. And I don't really use checkpoints anyway, so feel free to turn that off if you want checkpoints, but I like to throw it on just to have more points there. So what we're doing is we blew up that orb, or we're shooting that orb, and then it goes down into the ground, and we have to go stomp on it with a Colossus there. So I sent my Colossus over there to stomp on that first one out of 4, and you can see the ship in the middle of the map there shakes a little bit from taking a little bit of damage. And now I'm going to send my Colossus back to the base here. I started building this base, and I built a generator, 2 generators, and then 2 supply pads, and I'm going to build a 3rd generator in the back of the base there once I have enough supplies and power to do so. And with my ODST squad, you could see earlier I was blowing up those supply and power caches, and I also took the power node behind my base here with that ODST squad as well. So we're collecting some power already from that. And what you want to do is upgrade all of your generators and supply pads when you are able to do so. And that way you'll have heavy supply pads and advanced generators, so you'll get more supplies and power as we sit here and build up our base and our army here. So we're just going to hang out. There are 6 objectives. One of them is stomp, what is it, 10 or 15? 15. It's 15 destroyed enemy units or buildings with the Colossus Stomp. So I just destroy enemy buildings. And you could do that by destroying these little tiny buildings on the side of the map. Throughout the map, you'll find these tiny buildings. They don't actually produce any units or anything. They're just kind of destructible environment, basically. So there's 2 behind the base here, where you start at the power node that I captured behind the base. So you can see I stomped 1 just to get that started while I'm sitting here building up my base here. So that is one of the 6 objectives we need to accomplish. So I'm just going to have him stomp that second one. That one's blown up, and that's the those are the only 2 in the area, so I'm just going to bring my Colossus back now. And I upgraded my base, and I'm building a field armory and an air pad. We're just going to build a ton of Hornets and also a handful of, what are they, Nightingales. So I'm going to have 25, I think, Hornets and 5 Nightingales when all is said and done. So be prepared for that. So 5 Nightingales, and then the rest is just Hornets. And obviously we're going to upgrade our field armory entirely. And you want to start upgrading the, what is it? I always forget when I'm recording this commentary here. Fortified base, that's what the upgrade is called. Upgrade that as fast as you can. The reason you want to do that is because there are a bunch of waves of enemies that come at your base. So you want to make sure that your base is has higher HP, and also the turrets on your base can dish out more damage. So you can see I built 2 turrets on the back of my base so far. And another one of the objectives is to kill all 4 of these Controller Sentinels. Excuse me. Talking a lot. Voice is cracking. Not really cracking, but just, failing. But okay. So the ODSTs, I'm sending them over there to this like pylon thing with that beam of energy flying out at that Controller Sentinel. We need to take that controller beam or controller node, whatever it is, in order to be able to damage that Controller Sentinel, because he has a shield surrounding his entire body. So once you capture that node, it takes the shield on the back side of him down, so you'll be able to attack him from behind. So I'm just doing that, getting ready to take him out once our army is built. So just kind of doing things while my army is generating. So again, field armory, upgrade everything, and start with the fortified base upgrade so we could defend ourselves as we're building ourselves up. And then we are going to build a ton of hornets. And once you have like 10 or so hornets, I like to build my 5 nightingales, just so I could start healing things from the random waves of enemies that will be flying at us. So I'm going to upgrade my turrets. I upgrade all my turrets to anti-vehicle because they send a lot of prowlers, not prowlers, those aren't in this game, marauders and other vehicles like choppers and stuff like that. They do send infantry as well, but I like to focus on the anti-vehicle aspect. So eventually we're going to build the 2 turrets on the front of our base as well, but we're just building up our force here. And obviously you want to make sure you upgrade the tech level of the air units to 3, and obviously upgrade, get that upgrade for the Hornet, the wingman upgrade as you go on here. And you can see with this formation with the 3 generators and 2 supply pads, I have a lot more power than I do supplies. So just build as many Hornets as you can, and then when you can't really, or Hornets and Nightingales as you can, and then when you kind of reach a point where you're just waiting for more supplies to come in before you could build another one, just slap a upgrade on, just start researching one of the upgrades, and then that way you'll have time to build up more supplies, and then that way you aren't like wasting time just kind of sitting there waiting for more supplies. So just build as much as you can, units wise, and then once you're kind of out of supplies, just go ahead and start researching some stuff in that air pad there. And I'm done researching stuff in the field armory, so I'm going to replace it with a supply pad. I'm stuttering like a mofo here. That's alright. I want to go to bed actually, but I'm doing this for you, for the people. So we're looking good. I'm going to skip ahead a little bit because we're just going to build up our base, upgrade your turrets, and upgrade your field armory, which we're done with. Upgrade everything. And make sure you have a tier level of 3, obviously, for your base as a whole. And I'll see you in a hot second. Okay, now we got our full army here, and we are just going to move to the right, and we're going to attack this base over here, the enemy base. First, we're going to take out this Controller Sentinel, one of the optional or bonus objectives, whatever they're called. There's 6 objectives total that we need to accomplish here. Looks like we got some Covenant enemies, or Banished enemies, excuse me. And this is something you want to avoid doing. So I almost lose my Colossus, and one of the bonus objectives is to not lose your Colossus. So I should have just left my Colossus behind right there and just sent my Hornets after this guy. So kind of without even really paying attention, I just threw my entire force at him. And the Colossus wound up like right under that Controller Sentinel, where he kind of throws a beam of energy down at the ground and damages you. So almost lost my guy there. That would have been annoying. So don't do that. Just go after those Controller Sentinels with your Hornets and just forget about your Colossus. Obviously keep tabs on your Colossus. You don't want to leave him behind for too long and have him susceptible to other enemies, but just kind of avoid using him against the Controller Sentinels if you can, and just overall against most enemies. Something you want to take note of is the fact that a lot of enemies on this map are hunters, which cannot shoot the air units, so they're just going to focus on your ODST squad and your Colossus. So if you fly over a bunch of those guys, they're going to ignore you, and they're just going to focus on Colossus, which is not great for the objective of surviving the entire mission without losing a Colossus. So that's one of the objectives. We haven't talked about all of them yet. I'm sending my Hornets back at the base over here. Just the Hornets only. And I'm having my Colossus Stomp on that second orb of light, whatever it is. But, alright, finish the mission without losing a Colossus. That's number 1. Number 2 is destroy Banished Forerunner ship supplies. That's easy. We're going to do that at the end of the mission. All the Banished ship supplies are in the middle of the map where we kind of have the final battle. So we're going to go there at the end. Disable Controller Sentinel shields, 0 out of 4. So you can see we have completed one of those. And then the bonus objectives are destroy enemy units and buildings using the Colossus Stomp. We started doing that in the beginning. Killed Goliaths. You need to kill 10 of them, which you'll just do throughout the mission. And the next and final one is kill the hunter captain within 3 minutes, which is fairly easy. That comes at the end. So a lot of this stuff we're going to accomplish at the end, but just so you know what you're in for. So you can see I'm starting to build a base on that old base I just took down, and we successfully defended our first base, thankfully. So build up the base over here as much as you can. Build turrets, upgrade those turrets to anti-vehicle like we did with the first base. And as we take out these bases, you don't need to take out the bases, but it's a lot easier if you do so, because then there's a lot less enemies on the map, because they can't make as many units because they don't have any bases. So here we are at this second pylon. We're disabling this one. And it looks like we don't even need to kill these controller sentinels, we just need to disable their shields. So I'm just realizing this right now, but I just take them out anyway, because why not? Why not? They're pretty easy to take out once their shields are down. And looks like there's a cluster of people over here. Okay, we'll take those guys out too, don't worry. And we're done with that. And you can see I'm using my Colossus right there to take out that little building right there with my Colossus Stomp. And again, you want to make sure you're paying attention to him if you ever leave him behind for whatever reason. If you don't want him to go into the big battle, he could suffer the same fate but in a different way. If you just leave him behind, enemies coming up the rear could take him by surprise. So keep monitoring that mini-map, and I would manually go back and check on them visually as well pretty often. So we got some locusts coming at us, but that's alright. We got those anti-vehicle turrets up. They're doing their job very nicely. Took out that mini base, so I built that up, and there's a couple turrets to either side, so I built those as well. And what do? Throw on some anti-vehicle. You could throw on some anti-infantry as well, but I just like to do anti-vehicle. It seems to work out for me, but again, there are a lot of infantry units as well on this mission, so for the main base, though, I would definitely advise to do the first base, I should say. I would advise doing anti-vehicle. And alright, this base is dead too. Moving on. So I'm dumb, and I got excited when I saw these buildings. I threw my Colossus at it to do a Colossus Stomp over here. And I forgot to build up a base on the plot that we just destroyed. So I'm going to go back eventually and recapture that. But unfortunately, I'm going to lose it eventually because I didn't, well, it took too long. I kind of lost my opportunity there, but that's okay. You don't need all the bases, or any of the bases, really, to win this mission. I do advise you have at least one, though, but again, you don't need any. So we're going over here to this third orb. We're going to take these guys out. Take out the orb. Stomp on the orb. There's a couple little buildings there as well, so you can see that they took some damage when the Colossus stomped. Unfortunately, they didn't blow up entirely, so I'm going to have to come back in a little bit and finish those off. But that's okay. We are going to take out this Controller Sentinel over here. And one thing to note is the only way to capture these, or not capture, but the only way to disable these Controller Sentinel shields is with an infantry unit. So you could capture these power nodes or whatever they are. So if your ODST units die, you'll have no way to capture anything because you only have a Colossus and all these air units. But they are revivable since they are a hero unit. They'll just kind of regen their health, and then to get them back up and active, you have to walk near them, and they'll just pop back up. So just be aware of that. So in case you lose your ODST squad, they'll remain on the map. You could still see the star where they are located. So just check your mini-map. If you lost them, they're probably just dead, lying on the ground somewhere, waiting for you to go revive them. So this is the point where I go back to that base we destroyed. Looks like the Banished are trying to rebuild, and we're not having that. So I'm going to start rebuilding where they wanted to. And unfortunately, since I took so long and everything doing this, they are just going to come blow it up again. But that's okay. We don't really care about this base in particular. So I'm going to move my units up. And there's a fourth and final base as well for the Banished that I'm going to take out before we get into anything else. Or no, I'm going to go stomp these 2 buildings over here with the Colossus. I lied. We're going to do that first since we're kind of already in the area over here. Stomp these guys. And again, you have to do 15 of these. You could stomp enemy units as well and kill them that way, but it's just easier to do the buildings because obviously they're stationary and they don't attack you or anything. And what's here? What do we have here? We got more buildings to stomp. Send that Colossus over. So you can see this tiny base. We're trying to build that up as fast as we can, but we're not gonna do it in time before an enemy wave comes at us. And what you want to do is stomp near the base. You don't want to stomp on the base because I think, I'm not 100%, but I think if you like actually hit the Y button on the base, on those tiny buildings, the Colossus will actually start shooting it as it approaches the building itself. So it might actually shoot and destroy the building before it even gets a chance to get to it and stomp on it. So make sure that you're not clicking the Y button on the actual base. Or not the base, just the tiny building there. Just hit that Y button just to the side of it. And we're just using our Hornets to take out this base. I'm leaving the Colossus behind because I don't want them to risk dying or anything. And you can see I'm like routinely going back and checking on them visually because I don't want to have to restart because we are into this mission quite a bit at this point. And that stomp you saw there did nothing, so that was a glitchy stomp. We are going to come at that building from another angle. I don't know if it was the angle or what, but I'll just do it from the other side in a second. And we're starting to build up a base over here, the base we just took down of the Banished. We're going to make it our own, and we're going to really build that base up because we want to kind of use that for reinforcements going forward. So I destroyed that base. Got a few more to go apparently for this Colossus Stomp nonsense. And I've upgraded my carpet bomb, I believe, along with my restoration drones and a few other things at this point. So we got the fire base going, upgrade everything, move this Colossus over here, have him stomp on the ground a little bit. Again, stomp on the ground near the buildings, don't actually stomp on the buildings. And we got a lot of enemies coming at us. I think there's so many here because of that third base that we unsuccessfully took. We did not take it. It was unsuccessful. Because normally when I have the 3 bases already set up here, not including this one, it's very safe at this point. But it looks like they have a second breath. What is it called? A second. I don't know what it's called. I can't think of it. Man, this commentary thing. It's tough. You know what I'm talking about though. A second wind. That's what I'm trying to think of. They got a second wind because they probably have a base built up in that corner where my third base was. They got a second wind because they're like, oh, we got a base again. Let's throw some enemies at this guy over here. Base plot number 4. It's not actually numbered, but that's the order I do it in. So this is the 4th one. To me, it could be different to you. It doesn't matter. But anyway, I'm going to stick around here for a little bit and build up this base as much as possible and defend it because I'm going to actually hide my Colossus behind this base once we get to the final boss battle. So I'm going to build a couple air pads. I built a ton of supply pads, and then I have a couple air pads in the back of the base. While all that's happening, you could send your units over here and destroy all these mines. The reason that they are showing up is because I have the Nightingales. The Nightingales could actually see invisible stuff. So if you didn't have any Nightingales or any other units that could see cloaked objects, those would be invisible and you just walk over them and get damaged. So take those out with your Nightingales able to show you where they are. And I'll throw my Colossus over here just for safekeeping. All those turrets on the base will defend him. And units don't really go at that base once you are kind of in the middle attacking the final boss anyway. So you're pretty safe over there. My ODST squad went down. First time this mission. That's alright though. So I have my Hornets. We're running low on time, less than 2 minutes, but that's okay. We are going to take out this orb. And you can see I'm sending some reinforcements over here. I put a rally point on one of my Hornets, so they actually go to that Hornet whenever they are produced. And here we go, the Colossus bringing them back from behind the base. Stomp on here, and just go back. We don't want you anymore. I got all the way to the end once in a previous video guide I was attempting to make, and I didn't have the strategy of putting the Colossus behind the base at this point, and the Colossus just died at the end during the final battle, and I was peeved, I can tell you that. And then it delayed putting this video guide out because I didn't want to do it again. But here we are, doing it again, and I'm putting the Colossus behind the base here, learning from my mistakes, making a better guide, a more reliable guide, more reliable strats. So what do we got here? Finish the mission without losing the Colossus. We're working on that. That's in progress. Destroy the Forerunner or the Banished supplies. We'll do that. Those are in the middle. We have accomplished the disable the Controller Sentinel shields, 0 out of 4. We have already destroyed enemy units and buildings with the Colossus Stomp, 0 out of 15. Now 15 out of 15. We're going to kill 10 Goliaths. We need 3 more, I think. There are at least 6 in the middle of the map here at the end, so you only need to kill 4, or have killed 4 going into this final battle here. And then kill the Hunter Captain within 3 minutes, so that's the big one here in the middle that you want to make sure you do. I've never not done that with this current strat. It's pretty easy with all these Hornets to take out the Hunter Captain, so we'll see how it goes here. I am going to succeed, I can tell you that. I already know, because I've already done this. But we're going to go to one side. You don't want to stay in the middle of the map here because you want to kind of limit the amount of people able to shoot at you. So I just go to the side over here. Focus your fire on the Reavers because Reavers are anti-air. So focus your fire on the Reavers and then go to that mini base and take out the turrets and then take out the remaining units, whatever they are, and then take out the base itself. And these things that blow up, these kind of barrels or canisters, the red things that are blowing up, those are the supplies that you need to blow up as one of the objectives. And as a secondary thing, secondary bonus, they actually explode in a dramatic fashion, so any enemy units that are near it will actually blow up as well. So use that to your advantage. So now we're just blowing up the remaining units, or blowing up, by that I mean just shooting and killing. We're going to go over here, take out these mini bases. There's one mini base. And it looks like we're all clear in here except for a couple units. You want to focus on this Reaver. Again, the Reavers are the most dangerous to you. Followed by generic infantry. And then who cares? It doesn't even matter at that point. So bring your ODST squad over here. You need an ODST squad or any infantry unit near that console to activate it. You can't activate it with your air units. And out pops a Hunter Captain. So we're just going to rush his position. Because again, once he spawns, we have 3 minutes to destroy the Hunter. And you need to take down his health 3 times. So we're taking down his health to a certain point here. So that's 1. And he'll spawn. He'll kind of warp to the other side of the area. Then he'll have 3 Goliaths that are shielding him. So you can see those beams of healing power surrounding him from those Goliaths. So those are the 3 Goliaths out of 6 in this center area I was talking about. So we're just going to fly over here, focus on the Reavers. Remember, you have leader powers. You could use a carpet bomb, or you could use restoration drones, or whatever you have unlocked here. Once the Reavers are gone and the generic infantry, you could take out the Goliaths. You need to take those Goliaths out before you could start damaging the Hunter Captain, because those Goliaths are kind of shielding him, and he's impervious until those Goliaths are taken down. So here's 3 more Goliaths. So that's 6 total in the central area, like I promised. And so I'm just using a carpet bomb here to speed things up. And we're going to go at the Hunter Captain, and at this point, he'll start just taking random glassing beams and throwing them your way. So they might not necessarily even hit you, but they just might. So you kind of want to be aware of that. I lost a bunch of units here from those glassing beams. That's okay, though. I have some ODSTs I threw down. I researched those guys as one of my leader powers, and threw those guys down just to help out, speed things up. We did take them out in less than 3 minutes. I've never not done that with those strats, so definitely very reliable. And that's all she wrote, guys. Thank you very much for watching. Click like and subscribe. Leave a comment. Follow me on Twitter at HaloCompletion and on Twitch and Mixer at SilverScorpion4. And check out my podcast called HaloComprehensionalist. And I'll see you guys later for more Halo achievements.